know. But yeah. So getting back on track, I think if you've established yourself enough where people know that you're, say, like a drummer like me, and you know, you do certain kinds of music, you might be able to you might be able to live somewhere else and more affordable and not have to be all up in the LA mix.
Yeah.
I mean, LA's still sort of the entertainment hub. There's so many musicians out here and so many bands and people that can connect people with other people out here that maybe it's important to kind of spend some time here.
And if you hear a network, you know, I think that's so important. Like,
absolutely, whatever kind of music you're into, go out to the clubs and hang out and, like, you know,
find your tribe, you know, like
find
your
people that
crew.
make sense to you, you know, like musically, and you know, and find all sorts of people. I mean, like, I like all sorts of music, and so that was even hard for me too. I mean, like, I think I kind of know the most people within maybe the industrial goth sort of scene. I think I know that world a bit more than like, say, the metal world. Although, you know, I play a lot of metal shows where it's not that scene at all, or like some indie rock type thing. I mean, I've done that too. But yeah, you know, just go hang out with the you know, people that are at those gigs that you're into. You know, I don't know. Yeah,
I agree. At some point, I was like, I'm thinking about going back to New York, actually, but then New York is not cheap either.
Yeah. At a certain point, it's like you don't care about the nightlife as much and, like, all the crazy parties and stuff, and you're like, man, I just want to, like, live somewhere affordable that allows me to have a few more comforts so that I can, you know, just focus on music or something like that.
And then you fly out to LA or New York.
Fly to LA when you need to, and then do it.
But I think, like, when you're starting out, it's good to be in a city where something is happening. If you do rap, probably Atlanta might be good.
Absolutely, yeah. Rap is huge in Atlanta.
Yeah, or,
huge, like, you know, scene out there.
If you do, I mean, I don't even know what scene in LA there is anymore because I haven't been out, so it's kind of.
Yeah, it almost seems kind of
gone, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's sudden. You know, it's funny because, you know, I won't say what venue, but I work for a venue or a group of venues out here in Los Angeles, and so. Even with that, though, I have a hard time kind of figuring out, like, you know, what the scenes are, what's happening. You know, I'm lost, honestly. Yeah. Like, I feel like even working there, I'm kind of going, wait, how'd this, you know, where'd this group come from? Or what's this, you know, or like, what, you know, and there's a lot of people that are YouTube famous that are now touring, and they do pretty well. And, you know, it's really bizarre.
Puppy, do you know Puppy?
I worked. I'm not going to lie. I had to work. I worked stage security for Poppy's both of her gigs. So So I mean, maybe if you see some YouTube footage, you'll see me on stage.
That's awesome.
Doing Poppy's security or whatever. So I thought that was kind of funny. Yeah,
so funny.
So I got to. I'm very immersed in the whole Poppy world. I understand that. You know.
I mean, I watched her videos and I was
so
like...
bizarre, but she's interesting, yeah.
Very interesting. Like, I'm like, wow, man, this is so brilliant, you know?
Yeah.
And then when she took that on the road, I was like, what? You know?
Yeah, I mean, it was a fun show, man. Shit. She was wild, very, very out there, you know? Yeah. So, like, check her out. I'm sure you've already heard of her. She's...
If you haven't heard of
the
Poppy,
biggest YouTube star. Yeah, I guess so,
Besides, what's the other one? The Logan guy, like, whatever, I don't know. Mention him.
Yeah. But, anyway, so.
So, as far as artists that inspire you or music, is there anything that inspires you when you're not on the road, like that you listen to, or anything that you've just recently gotten into music that you listen to? Because I don't always listen to music that much, like unless I have to do some research. You know, I think we need to listen to more music, but I don't always do that.
Yeah, I mean, as far as finding, I mean, I definitely have found some really cool newer bands, and then I always continue to look to the past. I mean, I'm very much in tune with what I liked growing up. I mean, that resonates with me on a very high level.
Some of your favorite bands?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, my favorite band, and I've always said this too, is Wasp. I mean, I know I know, like a lot of people, no, I mean, well, certain people, like, you know, knowing what I do musically with a lot of groups will be like, wait, what? Wasp?
Yeah, I didn't really expect that.
Yeah, but no, Wasp is definitely my favorite band. Those first few records are, like, undeniably awesome. And, you know, it happened at a very early age. You know, this, like, you know, the bad kid in class, his older brother, you know, gave us a copy of one of their records, to listen to, and we were in the basement, and he was drinking a beer and all this crap, and anyway, so, I thought that was so cool.
Know.
Yeah, and I was like, this is awesome, and I'm just thinking it was the greatest thing, and I was looking at a photo of them, and their hair was like this big, and it was amazing, So anyway, I got attached to it, and the singer's voice is out of control. It's like, there's nothing, it's so, like, heavy and raw, but it's very melodic. So anyway, Wasp is an incredible band. I don't know.
Check them out. I wouldn't even know.
I would say the first 5 records. Go everywhere up through the Crimson Idol. I mean, after that, there's still some good stuff, but maybe but those albums in the beginning, wow, they were something. But Wasp is awesome. But I like all sorts of stuff. I mean, one of my second favorite bands is Slowdive, which is totally not, that's like a 90s British shoegazy kind of ethereal band.
I have to check them out.
So yeah, Slowdive, fantastic. I love, I still love like Nine Inch Nails and like Skinny Puppy and early Ministry and a lot of this industrial type stuff in Sisters of Mercy. A lot of like post-punk and goth from the 80s is very much what I'm into.
80s is just like the best music ever. I'm sorry.
So much good shit.
Nothing beats the 80s.
There's a lot of good stuff in the 80s. Yeah. So if you're a millennial, go check out.
I think they all know about it because whenever I go shopping, they play always 80s music. I'm like,
well, yeah. I mean, I jam with these young guys. I mean, they're in their early 20s. We do like a black metal band that sounds kind of like Dark Throne. I mean, they write all the music. I just jump in. They'll have another drummer if I'm not around. So it's a very like casual kind of situation, but. Man, these guys know so much. I guess with the internet now, it's more at your fingertips to like get all this information. And
it is.
And I'm used to doing that now myself. But I still harken back to those the good old days. Where you had to actually get your ass to like a record store and then talk to the clerk, and he'd be like, well, if you like this, try this, and then he's busting out like a CD Walkman or something, and you're like, all right, yeah, that's cool, and then you buy it, or you read about a band in a magazine because there was a write up or something, and
magazines.
And you had to do all this, us people from back in the day.
I know, it's crazy, but it's convenient now. I feel like it's nice when I go on Spotify and it recommends stuff and.
Yeah.
It's easy to find. There's so much good music out there. When people say, oh, 90s were the best times or the 80s were the best times, I, to a degree, agree, but at the same time, I feel that there's a lot of good music out there that people just don't know. You have to kind of dig and find it, but there's a lot of good music out there.
There's great stuff. There's great stuff locally here, too. Yeah. I mean, from working at that venue, I found out about a band, not The Dreaming, but there's a band called Dreamings, and they have like an AE, but... Oh, they are fantastic. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like Susie and the Banshees or something like that. They're a fantastic group. Brass Box is another one. They're kind of ethereal type stuff, kind of gothy a little bit.
Oh, cool.
Really cool band. I mean, there's a group from Sweden that I feel like is so underrated called Kite. Just KIT. They're from Stockholm. The nicest guys on the planet, and they're like. Nicholas, the singer's got like his voice is otherworldly, and the music is amazing. Okay. It's an electronic band.
Check it out.
Amazing vocals, amazing songs. I can't recommend it enough. Kite. Yes, go check out Kite.
On my list.
They're awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for spending some time.
Thank you. Yeah. And this was fun.
Giving us some insight in your rockstar life.
Hey, it is what it is, right?
any final last words you want to anything advice for others young and older? I think also some people are like, oh, I'm too old to do this. I think that if you really want to do this, I don't think you're ever too old to do anything.
I agree. I mean, you know what, like
put an expiration date on your life.
Yeah, and that's it. I feel like that's an outdated way of looking at things too. Because I certainly looked at it that way. I was like, oh man, I'm running against the clock.
Yeah.
I remember being in my early. I remember being that in my early 20s, having a major label interested in Mankind is Obsolete, and they basically told us we're too old to be playing this kind of music, And that really affected me. And we were all in our early and mid 20s. I mean, shit, there was a guy in the band. We had a guy who was 18 in the band too, at the time. And so, maybe he was not too. But it really kind of like it imprinted this negative image of it all in my mind, and I think it's all BS. Don't worry.
BS.
If you're a person who's getting older, or you think you are, don't worry about it. I mean, some of the cooler stuff I've ever done has happened in my 30s. Yeah. So, like, you know, just get out there keep, you know, do it. You could be 50. I mean, if you've got your health, you know, you could just do it. You know, why not?
Exactly. I think that's bullshit too. And it's bullshit because you don't need the labels anymore. You can, if you really want to do something, you can do it on your own. I mean,
absolutely.
Use YouTube, you know, SoundCloud, like Steam or whatever. Like, there's so many outlets now where you can just like showcase your talent and just do your thing, you know.
Yeah. Awesome. If people like you too, then they like you. It's like nobody's like sitting there going, well, music's pretty cool, but I don't know, that person looks like they're 47, you know, or something. You know, nobody says that.
Right. Unless I feel like I've seen bands where they look really old and tired on stage, and I'm like, okay, if you still want to do this, at least give me some energy.
Yeah,
don't
look
like, oh, I'm tired.
Don't look like, oh, I'm just doing this for the paycheck. Absolutely. No, I think, you know, if you're not into it, it's kind of like that disgruntled sound guy, you know, the infamous sound guy who always just seems angry and like, you know, anyway. And I'm like, well, why are you doing this? I realize that we all have to have a job, and just go, you know, maybe try something different if you hate it so much.
Exactly. I just think life is too short to just like do all the shit that you're supposed to be doing that people have told you when you grew up, right? Like get a real job, you know, do the 9 to 5, go home. It just it's sucking the life out of you, and like you only have this one life on earth that you remember at least, so why not do, you know, what you love? Do
exactly what you want to do. And you might have to make
you know, we all have to make sacrifices, and like I honestly, we talked about it earlier, like we probably could have had a house and a big car and, you know, all the material bullshit.
Sure.
It's not a bad thing. I mean, I'm not saying that if you value that, that's a bad thing, but you gotta really, doesn't make you happy at the end of the day. And I mean, and on your last day, on your deathbed, would you be like, you know, man, I wish I would have, you know, not gone out and tour and have the house? I doubt you're gonna say that, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know,
you're gonna be like, fuck it, man. I just did all this shit. I toured the world, and you know.
Yeah, and you went for it, you know, and you're not taking that money to the grave or the lack thereof. It's like it's all gone at that point. So just, you know, every day shoot towards your goal. I mean, even if you have that crappy job that you hate or whatever, you know, if you're having to, you know, I don't know, work a cash register at 7-Eleven or a grocery store just to make ends meet, don't feel bad about it, you know, just like
as long you're doing as you're supporting your dream.
You're supporting your dream. And
don't just do it to like get by, because then that's like a catch-22. You're never gonna get out of that.
Yeah, just know that you're working towards a bigger goal, you know, and keep doing something every day, and that will give you some fulfillment, I think. Yeah,
so. Like keep working on your hair, because I have a really bad headache.
My roots are coming in. I'm a blonde, so I'm wearing this beanie.
Well, thank you so much. You're awesome. Yes. That was really bad.
Very uncoordinated. I'm like going, oh. I'm like, what are we doing?
All right, thank you so much for watching, and all of his info is down below in the description box, so check him out and get the book. And even if you don't want to be vegan, you should still check it out, because I mean, we all want to be healthy and eat a little bit better. And Bolt says goodbye too.
Yes.
Bye.